This is Mackenzie, and in this video, we're going to talk about healing from a narcissistic relationship after they have destroyed you, completely betrayed you, maybe for a long time that you were with them. And in particular, we'll look at the story of Kourtney Kardashian and how there is this beautified and glorious idea of healing from a narcissistic relationship where we find out the type of person we really want to be with, and we are the Cinderella and marry them and have this magical fairy tale successful relationship after having been with this narcissistic terrorizing person. But that is not what we see in Kourtney Kardashian's life at all. She struggled so much, and she just really didn't even have anything together, it seemed, at her 40th birthday, right before she met Travis Barker and got married. And but the years before that, she was not seeming in a perfect place of healed, yet she was healing. How was she doing that? Just by getting through each day, doing her best. And how that is what we really need, is to just be doing our best and trying to find ourselves. But it might look like complete chaos to other people, but that is really when we are really healing and going to end up with the right guy, like she did with Travis Barker, and really have a great relationship once and for all after going through all that. So let's get into it. So Kourtney Kardashian, she's the oldest sibling of the Kardashians, but she became known for being super mean, super rude, super harsh for these boundaries she began setting after her relationship with Scott Disick ended. And while so many people think that she's just this rude person who's selfish, I think that after the years and years of abuse from her relationship from Scott Disick, what really was happening was she completely didn't know who she was or what she was doing. She just knew that she wanted to feel better. She wanted her life to be more of a match to who she really is. So she was just drinking more matcha lattes because she knew she loved superfoods and matcha and health and sugar-free, and trying to set boundaries. And so many people thought that those boundaries she was setting, not wanting to work as much and staying away from her family a little bit more, were really rude. And I completely see that side, because the way she set them was definitely rude. But I think the reason behind it, if we look at the root cause, the reason those boundaries were clumsily set by her and her interpersonal skills were really clumsy, was because she didn't know herself. She didn't know her values. And so she was thinking of a boundary to set, that she wanted to step back from work, and clumsily setting that boundary, not being so clear about it, leaving her family confused, not communicating well the changes she would be making in the future, just setting them abruptly because she didn't know her values and was trying to figure it out. And she was really struggling with anxiety, which she shares, and healing from the horrible betrayals from Scott, from trying to raise a family as nearly a single mom, with Scott having alcoholism. And yet we see that she must have been up to something good, because she now is much better interpersonally with her siblings. From what we see, this is all speculation and for education, and just to say, maybe if we look at a story, we can look back at our life. The story isn't necessarily true, though, about a celebrity. Sorry for my cat scratching in the background for that background noise. But I think we don't talk about how after the narcissistic abuse, we feel so confused, and what that's like day to day, and how that affects interpersonal relationships. Not only are you struggling with yourself and not knowing yourself and having such horribly painful wounds from betrayal, but you're also dealing with other people misunderstanding you and what pain that is. And yet how just pushing forward every day, she hung on to her matcha lattes, and she hung on to boundaries. She knew that she wanted to have boundaries in her life, knew she wanted to have healthy foods around her life. So other than that, her life was filled with fights with her family, her fights with Scott. She couldn't find a partner for years. She was single and raising her kids, and it looks like she might never find love again. And her life was not looking good, but she was pushing forward. She was believing in herself and doing her best. And then boom, all of a sudden she met her new husband, Travis Barker, had a fairy tale romance. He loves matcha lattes too, so they have a matcha bar where they both drink their matchas. How cute. And he's a vegan, so that completely aligns with her as well. And now she has her Lemme vitamins company, which is so successful and so in line with who she really is. And since she's so happy in her own self and the goals she has reached by pouring into herself and taking action on her goals. First she had push. The results show in the life that she now has and how she's no longer as fiery with her siblings and no longer suffering from how relationships suffer from when you're healing and you're fiery and you're dealing with all this anger from the narcissist. And it just can be really hard when people don't understand that and when you don't understand that. And I think one of the things that I had to do to end it with the narcissist that I dated was I had to just completely realize and accept that I had no idea what the heck was happening. I did not know what was happening. I just decided to end the relationship. After ending it, being on and off, trying to end it, I just was like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm just going to end it and completely cut ties, completely block them, all this stuff, block them in 10 different ways because that's what I had to do. And it was just like being in a dark cloud for so long. And even now I look back and realize more how much I didn't know what was going on. I was just going through each day, not knowing, learning a little bit more, but it wasn't until now, even 10 years later, I can look back and understand more. And still there's parts I don't understand, but we don't have to understand. That is so important to know. Kourtney didn't have to understand why she was walking away from her old life, from her partying, from her relationship with Scott, from the way she was with her family, letting that go and reforming her relationships with her family. All these things that she wasn't really knowing what she was doing, but she was still doing what she could. And from the chaos of all that finally came awesome results. A happy marriage, health, finances, her business, her passions, her creativity, and her life with her family. So I just think we cannot overemphasize enough how important it is to not be afraid to not know and still move forward, and how so much of healing is just knowing a little bit of our intuition. And it's okay to not completely know what our intuition is and just know a little bit of it and move forward from there and make a lot of mistakes, and it can look really messy. And no, our life is not messier than someone else's. Everyone's life is messy in some way. So I think that's all I have. Thank you so much for watching.